course, you can't see anyone. Hi. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to see here clearly. I was going to have a nap. The moment the energies. You really felt like you needed to have a sleep. So I was going to go lie down. Sorry, hi. I'm going to try and see if I can see you, but the reflection. And then I thought I'll try and meditate. And that was like, no, go lie down. Then I wanted to lie down. It was like, no. I was like, oh, whatever. So here we are. I got this download, clarity, which is actually the truth. We all know this today. But it came as the knowing, like, oh, yeah, just, finally the truth. And we've just like, it's actually quite funny, actually, if you think about it. We just overlooked this. I mean, and light workers are starseeds, are actually the ones who are feeding this, actually, making it worse, because we have energy when we awaken. We have more power, too, which is, wow. And it's, it's something we just completely have not even thought about. We understand we create our reality. I'll get it to you. Here's one very simple truth. Why we have this problem on earth and why we experience it, and what made me, we know this. This whole Trump incident that I saw being shared on here was a classic example of this. This is why. Division. This idea of separation and fear is what causes that. Us and them story. And this has been going on from the time Atlantis fell. So the understanding came here. Why? Because that's when the seed of division of the mind was sown, of that's a bad one. You see, this bad and good nonsense which doesn't exist was sown. At that time, they were going more and more into the mind. So you buy into the concept, oh my gosh, look what he's doing. It's out of character. All of a sudden you're experiencing darkness, you see, which is not normal because they were dropping. Instead of sticking with the knowing, no, we all one. And let's just send that one energy and help it. No. Anyway, but this is meant to happen. So everyone bought into there's good and there's bad story. It's a concept, it's a belief. And that's why they fell. Immediately you join into separation, because on the truth, and you all know this, any angel you channel, any guide, any Buddha, any guru, any awakened one, ascended masters, whoever you ask, they'll tell you, you can see it yourself, there's only one. You all call yourself source or universe. Other side, there's only one. The guide, there's only one. Source, all that is. Everyone will tell you this, right? And it's not sinking into everyone on earth. They're like, yeah, but look, but why? Do you know why it's not going away? Why you experience good and bad and dark and light? It's because you haven't let go of that concept, that belief and truth that was taken on in Atlantis, and you've lived it and reincarnated for so long. This is how the entire collective fell in density and they collapsed the dimension. Because immediately you do that, you're now splitting yourself as source in two. You're splitting your energy in two. You're causing an internal division in all parts of you. The mind, the body. There's light, dark, there's good and bad, you see. You're fracturing your energy. And this is why everybody knows, right? You came here to experience what you're not. Hello. And that's a really classic. What you are not. You are not separate. And as long as we still accept, so we need to release the idea, the belief, and the concept that there is a good and bad and a dark and a light. By you continuing to believe this and fight it, you, as you know, you're creating your reality, everything, are creating this experience on earth. You are creating this division. It's like your guides, they have to play the role. So, we're going to play they are only reflecting, as you know, as within, so without. The minute you release that belief, truth, idea, and concept, poof. Like, when you clear and release anything, it will reflect to you in your external reality. We as a collective humanity, by still believing this bullshit, which every guide, every Buddha, anyone will tell you, why don't they experience it? Why did the gurus not experience good and bad, negative or anything? Why? Because they released that. They know it's not true. They've released it as a truth, and it disappears from your experience completely. Your energy shifts, your external shifts. As long as you don't keep buying it, like anything, if you keep, it'll pop up and try and, let's play with you. You are creating those dark ones that are playing dark, and those things or whatever. You, by believing there's dark forces or dark anything, is the problem. Is exactly, you are the creator itself. We created this division. If you go, in the new earth, any other higher realms, they do not have any separation. It's only in this realm, this density. That is why. So do you think you can get to new earth with that belief? There's good, there's bad, there's dark, and there's evil? Not at all. There is none. New earth doesn't contain it. Unity consciousness, Christ consciousness, the Buddhas don't contain that belief. They don't even experience it. It collapses. You move into the heart chakra. That whole thing collapses. That dimension, that density will fall away. And you will see it. So if you want to shift to the new earth, that doesn't exist there. So you cannot shift there if you believe, oh, there's good and there's bad. There's us and there's them. There's dark and there's light. As I said, this is a distortion. It is a distortion. And if you decide to clear all distortions in truth, in your thoughts, this was a distortion in consciousness, in a thought and a belief that was taken on as a truth. And so, voila. Guess what? You are making the play. So you are going to get good and bad and dark and light. And this is it. You yourselves are creating it. This is why you're not experiencing it and leaving Earth. And you're experiencing nasty things and things acting out is because people are projecting that. As you know, your psyche, your mind is a projection. This is the movie screen. Poof, out there is the screen. So this is why you see this, because it's held still as a truth and a belief. But the gurus don't. Any angel, any being, anyone that's higher in dimensional density, when you meditate, will tell you this is not the case. We are all one. You ask, where do you come from, source? Who's source? All that is, I'm source, this is source, that's the universe. Is there anything else? On the other side, you make these agreements to play. They are playing roles. And it's because it's a choice. You believe it. You believe there is a good and bad. It doesn't exist. On the other side, you know this. So this is why the dimension collapsed and they fell into the third density. So if you want to get out of this density, that does not exist. That belief and that story does not exist in a higher dimension. You know that. The real truth. This is the truth. Yeah, absolutely. It's the truth. And it is held by the collective as a belief, which was from then. This is why it's happened, and this is why you've stuck in it. It's because it's so normal. You've incarnated with it for so many thousands of years that you never even questioned it. But you release all other things, and you manifest, and it reflects in your reality. But you don't think of questioning this. Oh, there's good and bad and dark and light. It's bullshit. There isn't. We know from so-called darkness, from the shadow, the gurus will tell you all is manifest. The forms appear. The light is the Maya, the picture show. It's appearing from within out. So if everybody believes there's good and bad and dark and evil, as everyone knows, when you wake up, when you go to the so-called demonic realm, they're not. And you know how to dissolve that by sending it love and light. And off they disappear. We created them. You are creating this. Especially as awakened ones and light workers. By believing you need to fight the dark. You have created a division in your own mind, body, and consciousness. So you will get this. This is why you will get the thoughts and the whole polarity. There's no duality. You are choosing duality because you are saying there is good and bad and light and dark, but it doesn't exist. As an ultimate truth, the gurus tell you this. So if they can experience it and you can't, what's the difference? They know it's bullshit. They've released it. You see, so you need to release that as a truth, as a belief, as a concept, if you want to see it fall away from your experience. Others on here, they choose to experience it, because remember, this is the last rodeo on Earth, on this version of Earth. So some have come to experience, the end of it, because this is it. This is the last chance you're going to get. We're moving into a new Earth. So this third dimensional Earth that you've experienced for 1,000 years will no longer be. You will no longer be able to incarnate and play that game. It's finished. It's end. This is a new Earth. This is coming to an end, this whole story. It will be there to look at in the past, but there's no more going around and playing on it. You will not be able to connect into the old earth and all that stuff, third density anymore. You see, so some have come here maybe with that belief to play, to experience the most dense of what they're not. The distraction and try and drag as many into that, story and throw out there, oh my gosh, there's this and that. All kinds of things that, there's lots of stories to see who wants to co-create with them. Oh, co-create, let's trap our souls. Oh, let's co-create. It's bullshit. On the other side, you all know that. You're all one soul. Yeah, you create whatever. This is what I'm saying. You're creating this. This is it. Simple. For those that are on the ascension path, sure as hell when they realize that, as you know, there's nothing there. Oh, unity consciousness, are we going to get there? Yes. But you're not going to get there with that belief that there isn't unity consciousness. You know what I mean? You want to say we want unity consciousness, Christ consciousness. They knew there was no separation. There was no other us and them, good and bad and light. It's an illusion. It's a distortion. It's not a truth. So if you want, you can release it as not a truth. Stop subscribing to the idea, the thoughts, the concept that there is good and bad, dark and light and evil. Because you are then saying, this is my truth, this is the experience, and you are creating this as everything else. So we want to have peace on earth and stop seeing like we do things out there, or you do. Those that choose not to then can go down with the old earth. That's no problem. That's a choice, because remember, it's a Maya. The end of time, some want to experience the worst or density. It's the last chance they've got to experience. So they really want to go as dark as they can, because it's just a illusion. They're undestructible. This is your consciousness playing here. But those that are awakened and want to ascend, the light workers and starseeds, do not realize you yourself are holding yourself in a lower octave in consciousness from rising to a higher dimension or unity consciousness. What the word unity consciousness says, there is no us and them separation. Everything's a belief and a thought and story and program. Release the story, the program, the distortion, and you will not experience it. All right. Your energy will shift, and your frequency and vibration. You will stop experiencing. It doesn't mean it will happen maybe instantly. Listen, the thoughts might try you out for a bit, who knows? But just ignore it. You know that. The gurus will tell you that. And I was like, oh, of course. I laughed this morning and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, it's so obvious. You know that truth anyway. You've been on the other side. You know all this whole thing. The gurus tell you, you've seen it. So you know it. The angels tell you, the guides tell you, the galactics tell you. It's not like everyone's not fucking telling you, but then it's like hint, hint, but you have a choice, you see. They're not making the choice for you. And then today I'm sitting putting my shoes on, about to go for a walk, and I was like, oh yeah, all right, hello. You realize you're creating everything. Because this has been part of our creation for so long, we don't even question it. It was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Excuse the language, but it was so obvious. And I was like, we're creating this shit. Of course, they don't experience that because they don't choose it. The minute the gurus pull out of that story, they don't experience any form of adversity from any player in the game. They only experience neutrality because they're not claiming it. So they do not experience any negativity or from any so-called player here. All souls playing in here know that that's it. They're in the one consciousness. So they are not creating division, hate and things. So they don't experience it. They don't experience anything you do. This is it. And I'm like, oh my heck, yes. So you guys want to shift? You gotta drop that one, because that does not exist there. That affects your frequency, and it absolutely affects your frequency. Why? It's causing a division already in the body. In your thoughts already it does. Oh, that's good, that's bad. See, you fractured. The mind is even fractured. This is why you have so-called dark or light thoughts. Where do you think they come from? You're creating the story. There's got to be good and bad, so there's got to be good thoughts and bad thoughts and that. And, this angel demon thing nonsense. And if any of you have been through that, you know it's nonsense too. You understand what these things are, even in the astral realms. So this was a concept sold to humanity. That's why Atlantis fell. You see, because when the first demonstration of density happened, they were starting to fall gently already, more and more in the mind and ego. So of course, as you go down, anyone has to, let's say, present that behavior, that energy. What happens? Everyone saw it as a fear. Oh my gosh, look, there's bad. and buy into it, collective, and manifest it. But they not, you know what I mean? So yeah, it is interesting. And you know this when you work, if you've gone through all these realms and fought these demons and all these things, right? Because it's your own shit. You realize what we've done over the years. We've fed energy into that nonsense. So all they are is energy, millions of people's energy fed into that being. When it dissolves, you can see all the energy coming, all disappearing. So you know it doesn't exist. Yes, as we speak, exactly. It doesn't, you know when you descended love and light. So basically what you are saying, this is what you are doing, dividing half of yourself. Half of me is dark, half of me is good, half of me is bad. All your energy is your energy. You're manifesting it. You are creating these things. So this is why the gurus don't have, that's why they have power and they can manifest instantly, because their energy is not fractured. There's no separation. There's no us, them. There's no good, there's no bad. I'm not separate from source. That is everything, as they tell you, is the self. You have to claim that as a truth. You have to release these distortions that say there is separate. We are all souls playing a game here. We're all fractals. You are creating this, whatever you want to play. So you will not, obviously you cannot not experience. If you believe there's good and bad and dark and light, well, there we are. You're not going to leave that reality, and not, because you are saying this is a fundamental truth. When everything will tell you it is not. It's like, nah. You know what I mean? So there we are. But we have to choose that as the creators itself. So today I was laughing when I put my shoes on. I was like, oh. Oh, right, all right, yes, no, we let's release that concept that it's distortion, because you know why? I saw some thoughts and I was like, right, I'm going to dissolve any thoughts, any that are not in alignment, because you know there's only one, there's only source with that incident that really makes you think, doesn't it? So you see that and there's, but that's what I'm saying. We are creating this. They've got to show up as the characters. Who's going to play the role? You know how the shadow work works. It's reflecting. So people have this fears and nonsense and believe this. They're projecting it out there. It's whole reality is projected. So we as humans stop this nonsense about there is a good and bad and dark and light, and because it is not. Fundamental truth, the real truth, ultimate truth. We all know this. We all know what we are. But it's a choice. So those that want to stop fracturing your energy, yourself, your being as source, because there's only one. That as the Buddha, actually, I'll share this thing. What's his name? Next Level Soul had some lady on yesterday or the day before that was channeling the Buddha. Came through for once. It was so interesting. And I got a few hints there anyway, and a bit later on some other things. And I was like, yeah, just... So I suppose it just took some time to like kind of, you know this, you've seen it, you experience it, you can ask, you can astral, you can da-da-da, we all know this. But no one thought of releasing it. So today when I said, right, I heard some thoughts, exactly, it was trying, when you hear the thoughts that pop up and you hear they're judgmental, of course they are. Oh, look, they should have done that. Oh, he's bad, there's good. You see, jumped into this bad, good story. I heard the mind doing this one about that. And immediately said, no, because there's no separation. All are source. Every single one on this planet is the divine walking. They're playing roles, and that's what got me. Why are they playing the roles? And I was like, oh, holy shit. So the minute I decided, I said to them, right, I called in the violet flame. I said, right, dissolve any thoughts that are of separation, that are not of truth, that are not of the one, of oneness, of source. The minute I did that, that's when the realization came, you see, because that is out of alignment, is not unity consciousness. So when I asked for those distortions of thoughts, thoughts that are not in alignment with the truth to go, the truth is revealed. And I was like, oh shit. So clear. We have created this mess. Well, obviously, that's no joke. We created it. For sure we created it. And we continue to create it. The more you are especially wanting to fight the light and dark and play into this thing. You see, they're playing along because you're saying it. Well, okay, let's give them something to, So you're actually creating this suffering yourself. Instead of helping people, or helping so-called anyone out there. You see? I will upload this, yes. Some of them, when they've got really long, like they've been sort of 3 hours, people have been chatting, I don't. When it's just a general chit-chat, I haven't. But this I will, because this is a download. And I swear, it was so obvious. And I was like, oh, for heaven's sake. It's so fucking in your face, people. It's so, everyone tells you. We know this at a core. Your higher self, everything and I was like, oh, for heaven's sake. But you see why? It is such a normal thing that you don't question that thought. You question many other things in the reality, but we didn't think, oh yeah, there's light and dark. And I told you the other day, actually, because it already came through, and I shared a picture of this. That's what they tell you. It was in the book of Thomas, the Bible, so-called book of Thomas. That was already disclosed. It's disclosed by any guru you ask, any enlightened being. Go speak to any guru, any Buddha, any awakened being. They're like, nah. Everything is the divine. Everything is it. So, this, as Buddha was saying, you start seeing that as within, so without. You have to now, like anything, any belief you clear, right? You've got to change your reality at the outside. No matter what it reflects to you, until it changes, you've got to walk around. Walk around. That is the divine. Do not let any thought, as I say, release any thought, concept, truth, belief, program that there is dark or light, good or bad, problem solved, because that will really change your energy, never mind your whole poor body. There's no system trying to create any friction. There's no conflict. And then now your pattern, the program, the habit is used to saying, you see, the mind is used to seeing separate. Oh, he's judge, any judgment, you can also get rid of that shit. That automatically, but it's so obvious. I was laughing today. I was like, oh shit. Sorry. I was like, no wonder why. Just look at that poor man's behavior. Oh, never mind. Yeah, there's playing going on. But you see, we are creating those characters ourselves. So yes, if some still choose to go down with this is the last time. Maybe we're not coming back. This is your last rodeo on Earth. You will not experience this version of Earth again. It's not open to reincarnation anymore. This is it. We're shifting. It will be there in records, but it's like, that's it. So this is why people are going all out. I mean, to the extremes in this life. You're like, well, okay, let's go. Whatever, you want to experience opposite to whatever you had, because your last chance is to play in this density. So as they walk around, understand that source. That one is the divine. I don't care what it's doing. And the minute, and the Buddha tells you this, see them. Start changing this program. Don't allow the program, oh yeah, no, but he's not Ulik, he's doing something. No. You see, the mind will create that. And you will see, give it 30, 40 days, it will shift in your reality. Never mind your frequency, your vibration and your power shifts. That's how they have power, because it's not being fractured. You see? I don't know who you are. Sorry, sweetie. This is the public I'm talking to. This is not a personal chat. They're just, so when I was putting on my shoes this morning, I was like, oh, hectic. Do you know, you say you want to clear any distortions that aren't true. The minute you release that, and then that's when the distortions become obvious. And I was like, oh my gosh. Sorry. And if you've gone back in time to when the actual Atlantis fell, you can see it. I was there. I went back, a remote viewed, out of the body thing, to go back to look, because curious, right? And it was like a vortex got sucked out. And that's what you could feel the density. It was like, oh my gosh, there was like negative beings, because this is their thing. They fell into separation. Oh my God, they're bad, there's bad, you see. And you can ask anyone from that time, what do they tell you? Oh, there's good and bad. There were good and bad guys. That's exactly. It was like a vortex. It looked like a wormhole. That's exactly what happened. They actually got sucked into a lower density. This is what you're doing. You're shifting dimensions. It was like a wormhole opened, and the energy just got sucked out, collapsed. That dimension collapsed. The density collapsed. Because they bought into us and them. There's a good and bad separation, which is not the fact. In any other dimension, frequency, vibration, or existence, you know what I mean? This is the denser, not your self-reality, distortion of truth. This is why they say, you come here to experience what you are not. That's the clue. Sorry. Anyway, there we are. So I thought I'll share that with you. And when you release it, and then it's like, oh my gosh, your energy feels so much better. You are not fracturing yourself at all. Your body mind is free now. It's not in conflict either. And you're not going to see any other, because that's a distortion, anything, everything is the divine. Guess what? You will feel safe too, because now you're not going to have to fight or defend yourself against anything, because you're not now going to create a scenario where there is anyone that wants to hurt you, because it is a delusion. It is not the fact. We are creating this delusion, distortion, because we have chosen it as a truth, a belief, and keep on playing and giving it energy. There we are. Simple, and that was so simple. I was like, how obvious. We've had how many thousands of years to figure this out? Sorry. It was like, hello. I took this attempted, well, yeah, let's not even go down that road. You know, we don't want to play into those games. Assassin. Anyway, when there's so many remote viewers out there, you see things ahead of time. Sorry, I can't see your things. Yeah, and I'm just thinking it's because it's been a fundamental basis of our game since that fall. That's what created the collapse. Now we're going to go up in dimensions and frequency like the gurus. Unity, consciousness, Christ. Everyone's like, yeah, but you know we got to find. This is why you're tethered to this energy and density, is because you have, you see, you can't rise out of it into a higher dimension or into the heart center if you are still choosing a truth of there is good and bad, because it is a distortion, not truth. There is no good, bad, dark or light at all. Only one. Creating the play to whatever you decide. Unconditional, as you know that. Oh, I'll play that. Oh, let's play this. And you see. So as light workers, not a good idea to fight any and label anything as you know, in that way, as I say, unless if you want to get out of this, because you know there's in the new earth, you know it's not there. It sure ain't there. And anyone that's enlightened will tell you that. And anyone on the other side that's in that, you know, frequency and vibration. Because if you're still choosing that, you have characters and guides that are playing those roles. It's a chosen story. But humanity themselves have done this. We could have heaven on earth right now if every single one in humanity chose to release this belief program or truth. I mean, really, completely. Do not choose it as a truth. Absolutely no. It doesn't, you know, knowingly. And it would disappear. We would shift like poof, gone. There we are, like the gurus. There's no fun, you know, they just cruise around. So there we are. I've decided, yeah, we know, we... Oh, very funny. Fell for that one. Enough now. Yes. Yes, I mean, it's such a simple thing there. But I mean, you see, no one questions it. Oh my gosh. Anyway, there we are. You are freeing them. And even if you listen to Paul Silic when he channels, reclaim all in the light as the source. This is when you wake up. This is that ascension process you're going through, the purification or cleansing of the chakras. Exactly. You have to re-see everything in a new light. That is one distortion. No, there isn't any other. So you're reclaiming that truth. So what happens when you reclaim those so-called others that you have put in the darkness and said they're bad or light or dark, you reclaim them in the light, what happens? Boing! They're no longer now subject to having to play a role of a bad guy or the dark one. You see, you're reclaiming all to the light as source, as the higher consciousness, as the truth. Now you are freeing those beings and characters from playing those roles of good and bad and dark and this and that. Bye-bye. You freed them. You let them go. This is why when you wake up and you have fed into these things over your lives, like these demonic realms and things, your distortions, thoughts, you've created them. They've created entities. Guess what? Like this one, you have to go there. And then you fight them for a long time and you get really tired. And then you're kind of told, okay, no, you got to send it light. And love. And the minute you do that, you have no problem. You see? I mean, even in the book of Seth, it makes it very clear. And that wasn't a very unpleasant story, but I mean, it tells you what happened when that man died, Shem, and he believed. And they had to create this whole scenario because you believe it. Same with heaven. When you die, and if you believe it, that's exactly what you create. And because I've died, I know what I'm talking about. And I was there long enough when I came back to remember. I was like, oh, heck. And I've been up there. So you went up the tunnel of light. You checked this out. It doesn't exist. You know this. And then you're like, oh, okay. You see, on the other side, there's not like, that you don't last in the illusion for long, because you're kind of, oh. You see that's very empty, actually. No one's there. It's like this fake city, but it's empty. No one's in it. It's like really strange, yeah. Like a city of lights, but it was, yeah, because they believed it. But no one's hanging out there when they wake up. They soon realize, oh, all right. Yeah, yes, anyway, funny. No, well, that's it depends, yeah. Some don't. Yeah, source is definitely, yeah. I know. But then you say, as I say, there's still all the bodies, there's all the games going on, there's still all the players and all the forms, entities, which you are. As soon as you cross that veil, as soon as you drop this delusional me and us and them thing, as I say, the veil drops, you'll see that you, this body, and all bodies are empty, like ghosts, are empty forms, see-through. They're holographic. This is really the truth of what your body is. That's what it looks like. And that's on the astrals and the so-called, you experience as so-called light bodies or ghosts or soul. That's exactly what it looks like right now. The minute you drop that and you hit that higher frequency, like the gurus, they'll tell you it's a play. You see? There we are. But you need to step back now from the distortion that there's anything but the divine, the source. Release those distortions, thoughts, beliefs, concepts, and programs completely. There's no good, bad. There's no light and dark. There's only one. And as the Buddha says, you have to walk around with that in mind and see everyone and treat them all as that. You see, you behave, and then you've got the inner and outer matching. It will manifest. It will change. But you see, because here you've got to give it time to manifest, change. All right. Hi. There we are, people. All right. I'm going to rest now. I was going to meditate. Oh, the energies are wow. If you can feel what the energies coming in, the brain and the crown chakra. And when I came back from my walk, I was going to lie down and I just wanted a nap. I was like, no, I need to nap now. Then I thought, okay, just rest and meditate. But then with this activity going on with the crown, you don't feel, it is a lot integrating. Because as I say, all those downloads and information integrating into the body and truth and, higher knowings and more light. So whatever else it pushes out, let's see what tomorrow you're crying and who knows. Who knows, what's ever in the body. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. You're welcome. That's true though. And it's so obvious. I couldn't believe how silly it was and how obvious it was. The minute you said, oh my gosh, it's so simple. And all we had to do was that, and we would not have experienced any of this suffering as such. You know what I mean? And this is why in those realms there is no suffering. They're not creating it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, they're not creating any, some purposely, as you say, you can go and choose that realms where they're playing out that, and other times, whatever. But here's one of them. You see, but even here you don't have to experience it like the gurus do. And if you want to exit this one and get into the new earth, that one you have to drop that one, because that one does not exist there. It's not, you know what I mean? And we know it's not a truth of what you are or what exists in the first place. All right. Because because you're creating this Maya, you're creating a reality in whatever you believe, think, and feel. Because you also, first of all, the belief that it's physical and solid is the one of them, and everything we tell ourselves, the shift, and we, all these things, and it's gonna. Like yesterday, I decided no, the body's gonna glide through this. Remember, it's also how you think you're gonna perceive it. So you can tell your body, this body is gonna like assimilate everything with such ease and flow. It's gonna be, it's gonna do this without any. It's gonna be like just smooth sailing for it. Don't expect or believe it's going to be difficult or hard, because then remember, you also create that experience. Because we believe in such a dense body, if you just sit and meditate and pay attention to the actual body, what's there, you'll feel there's no body, no sides, no, I've talked about this. I've shared a few tips. I made a short on my page, and I went into this. Go and do this self-inquiry, and you'll realize, nothing out here. This is consciousness playing. The real high level, there isn't a body at all, actually. No, you can feel that. Not at all. There's no separate body. That's what I say. You realize when you stop creating separation, there's no separate anything here. All is the source. You see, then it also helps you, because you realize the table is part of it, creating this, right? Creating an idea of a room, it's projection, all of it. Everything is source. The grass, there is no separation. All is the one, only divine here. Release all that, and it will be easier for you, you know what I mean? And start reprogramming Polly. Or Polly, if you release it, Polly should be happy anyway, because now Polly doesn't have to, like, you know, the mind can have some rest now, you know. There we are. It is. Go and do that. It's amazing when you start doing it. It's amazing. The more light the more light you take, and the more you rise anyway, you see it. It's part of the process. But it is, I mean, when this one experimented with that non-duality, you know, in the veil, dropping of the veil, it was like, wow. Oops. Well, this is, none of it's real. No more real than your dream is. That's how it comes across, really. So thoughts, beliefs, whatever you're believing to choose to experience and create, that's what you're going to get, okay? Yeah, so I'm saying, depends on what you chose to experience. There we are. It's fun. People, look, if you know this is your last rodeo on the planet, you're making the most of it. Really, you don't realize. Make the most of Gaia and those trees, and because you're not going to ever experience this version of Earth again. You see, it'll be there. But then, you know, it'll be stuck on time to watch. You know, you can go and have a look, but to connect back into it. So the trees and the earth and this version of Gaia and everything, you know, and this is why people are really, you know, some are going all extremes here, because it's, you know, hey, we're going to make the most of this final experience before the shift, you know, before this thing goes. That's it. The end of the old earth, you know, and the birthing of the new, yeah. It's a whole new version of earth they're creating. All right, so, yep, you decide, okay. But I'm sure most of you are on this journey to ascend and want to get to the new earth. Don't want to go down with a kabang squash, you know, well, it maybe some of you have chosen to go out that way, you know, let's go down, you know, let's do the destructive side, because literally it's a very valid experience. If you can't experience it anywhere else, you can't experience fear, because they know it's an illusion. There's no separation anywhere else. So if you want to experience, yeah, this is why you come here, to experience everything that you're not, which is obvious, like all of this you're not. There we are. But most of you on the ascension journey, you want to get up there. So then, yeah. No, okay. All right. I love you lots, guys. Have a wonderful day or evening or morning, wherever you are. I'm going to rest now. Okay. Take it easy. Bye.